Hi everyone, this is Priya Vashnan and welcome you all to the new session. So from this video onwards, we are going to cover Aristotle, and in this video we are just talking about the introduction to Aristotle. So here is the book, The Politics, which is being considered as one of the classic work of Aristotle and one of the famous work of Aristotle. So we will study about the elements in this book in our further series when we will study about various theories of Aristotle, right? Okay, now if I talk about Aristotle as a thinker, then I have already said in previous videos as well, that Aristotle is being considered as one of the greatest disciple disciple as well as the greatest critic of Plato, right? So um, we have seen that Socrates, who was the teacher of Plato, and Plato is basically the teacher of Aristotle. So but Aristotle is someone who is being considered as the great disciple. When I say that he was the greatest disciple, then it itself implies the influence of Plato on Aristotle's theories as well as the critic of Plato. It also implies that he was not considering everything which was said by the Plato as truth. He was putting his mind into it, and he was trying to analyze, and he has uh, courage to even criticize his master's work. But it would not be even right to say him as the critic of Plato, greatest critic of Plato, because he was actually trying to to actually correct, to rectify the works or the thoughts of his master, that is Plato. Okay, so there were actually very much similarities as well as the differences between Plato and the Aristotle, as is being highlighted by the statement that Aristotle being the greatest critic as well as the greatest disciple of Plato. Okay, so first of all, let us talk about the similarities between Plato and Aristotle. First similarity was that they both belong to Socratic tradition, right? They both belong to Socratic tradition, and they both were the critic of sophist tradition. Critic of sophist tradition. So if you are not aware of this sophist and Socratic tradition, then I have already made a video on that. The link has been given in the description, you can see that. Okay, second similarity, or you can say third similarity, was that they both gave primacy to the state. For both of them primacy to the state, which means that for both of them, whole was prior to the part, right? Because we have seen that how Plato has suggested to sacrifice almost everything for the sake of the duty towards the state or towards the nation, right? Next similarity was that they both believe in the natural inequality, as we have seen in Plato, that how Plato has categorized people into three categories. That is man of gold, man of courage, and man of gold, man of silver, and man of copper, based on the three elements of the soul. That is courage, reasons, and appetite. Right. Next similarity was that both equate poverty with ignorance. Both equate poverty with ignorance, which means that they do not believe that a person is poor because he or she does not have these material things. A person will be poor if she or he does not have the knowledge, the real knowledge, right? Next thing, that they both lack faith in the masses. Lack faith in the masses. So as Plato has given absolute power to the philosopher king, that itself implies that he does not have faith in the masses, that he does not even have that faith that masses could even ask some relevant questions regarding the decisions which are being taken by the philosopher king, right? So this is how These are basically the similarities between Plato and Aristotle. See, uh, 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 see, I think these are very much clear to you as with respect to Plato, because we had already covered it. As we will cover the Aristotle, you will be able to understand everything, that how Aristotle also fall in these things, right? Okay. Next, let us talk about the differences between both of them. So, if Plato is basically said to be an idealist, whereas Aristotle is being said to be as pragmatic. Why Plato was said as idealist? Because for Plato, idea was the ultimate reality, but for Aristotle, uh, ide- but for Aristotle, he actually believes in realistic things also. Matlab, see, we have seen that how Plato has discarded the real world, and he was just focusing on the kingdom of God. For Plato, everything which was there in the kingdom of God was the perfect thing, and that is something which we should follow. But for Aristotle, that was not right. Aristotle says that it is not wise to discard the world in which we are living, right? We should focus on that. And only for some idea, for xyz idea which is actually beyond the understanding of a common man, we cannot ignore the real world. So he was considered as pragmatic. Pragmatism is basically, you can say that it is something which is a combination of idealism and the realism, right? Okay. So next difference was that Plato was perfectionist. He wanted everything to be perfect. That's why he was searching for the perfect idea of knowledge, right? And perfect idea of ideal state. Whereas Aristotle believes in moderation or golden mean. So what is this golden mean? I will explain this to you in my next videos, because there you will be able to properly understand this, right? So for now, just remember that Aristotle was a believer in moderation or golden mean. Golden mean is a keyword for you, right? While Plato was a perfectionist. Second point of difference was that Plato was radical in his thoughts. For example, he has talked about the abolishment of private property. Even he has talked about the abolishment of the private family in his theory of communism, right? While Aristotle is said to be conservative, he is basically believer of the of taking through the tradition, right? Next point of difference was that Plato believes in ultimate knowledge, which is something, or you can say, which is kind of beyond the understanding of a common man, while Aristotle believes in common sense. Aristotle says that okay, I can understand that everyone cannot attain this ultimate knowledge thing. So you just need to have common sense to understand things, right? You do not need to have some kind of ultimate or supreme knowledge, right? Next point of difference was that according to Aristotle, ruler need to be wise in the world of idea rather than he has to be worldly wise. So this is statement as well I will explain in my next videos, because there you will be able to properly understand those things, right? Okay, so this is all uh, uh, about the differences and similarities of the Plato. So sorry, of the Plato and Aristotle. So in this video, what we will do is, so in the further videos, what we will do is, we will talk about the important theories of Aristotle, that is his theory of idea, form of knowledge. Then we'll talk about his theory of state, then theory of citizenship, theory of property, his theory of slavery, his theory of constitution, theory of law, and then theory of revolution. So basically these 8 theories we are going to cover in our next videos. So till then, it's enough for this video. See you in the next video. Till then, thanks a lot. Bye bye. Take care.